Welcome back, everybody. Part two, week one matchups. We'll keep
Yay.
going. We just recapped Dylan and Alex. So let
Yeah.
Hugo share his screen and we'll talk about the next matchup, which should
Hell
be.
yeah, Marty. Let's change the settings on the screen there. Let me share that screen.
Oh yeah.
And we're gonna get into the heavyweight matchups here now, Marty. These are the highest projected matchups of the week. And let's take a look and see what we got to deal with here. Because Matt versus Coco there's some high profile players in this matchup here. And the prediction or the it's going to be Matt with 245.22 against Coco with 253.75. So quick math, that's 8.5 points right there. 8.5. Marty, let's talk about it because it like I said, there's going to be a lot of points, and I'm excited for this matchup because Matt has been real quiet this offseason, not saying anything, staying humble. He knows he's got Mr. Unlimited on his team, and so he's confident. He's confident, but Coco, if Coco wins week one, we're gonna hear about it.
Yeah. Well, I think might be, I mean, the matchup of the week here. Just as far as the teams go, I think these are two of the best teams in the league right now. I know it's week one, obviously, but
I agree.
we expect high things from these teams here, so it's going to be interesting to see who starts off on the right foot to start the season. But looking at the quarterback matchup, just to kick things off, you said it, Mr. Unlimited, Russell Wilson himself, going against his old team in Seattle. That's a revenge game, dude. So if I was
Big time
Coco, I would be a
revenge.
little bit afraid of that matchup. Um, Against Kirk Cousins playing in Green Bay.
Will Kirk Cousins show up to that game, Marty?
It's gonna. I mean, it is a dome game. I mean, he is home, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting that matchup there. I wouldn't be too confident against Green Bay. I feel like they're gonna run the
No.
ball a lot, so I feel I would
Yeah.
take the under in this game to be honest. But
Yeah, for sure. But I think Matt has him beat with Russell Wilson here.
yeah,
Looking at
agreed.
this matchup for sure. And the running backs is no easy task. This is the number one and two running backs in fantasy when healthy, in my opinion. And
Yep.
so even the RB2 spots for these fellas behind Jonathan Taylor and behind Christian McCaffrey, we got Dalvin Cook and Joe Mixon. I mean, look at these point totals here, Marty. We
Yeah,
got some
close
fireworks
matchups.
here.
Close matchups. My fear with Jonathan Taylor is they probably don't need him for the full game. Against
They should
Houston.
have a good lead in this game.
Yeah, they're gonna put up points quickly against Houston, and then they'll probably ease them off, and put in Naheem Hines or somebody else to carry the load, just so they don't want to really risk hurting him on the Houston. They don't really need. I This game is going to be an easy game for them, so that's my concern there. And then Christian McCaffrey against Cleveland. Hopefully they don't overuse him. I feel like they're going to need him to win this game. Baker Mayfield that's his revenge game, so I could see Baker throwing the ball a lot.
I wonder if they feed him like usual. Like if Christian McCaffrey gets fed like usual, week one, he's gonna be on a fuck you tour just as much as Baker Mayfield. So I love Carolina in this game. And I like a lot of Christian McCaffrey,
Yeah,
but that Browns defense is really good up front.
yeah, yeah. I think McCaffrey's probably still going to have a good game as long as he can stay in the entire game. Obviously, he's a freak of nature,
Yep,
and they need him to win this game.
for sure, for sure. And Dalvin versus Joe Mixon here for Coco. Both tough matchups, if you ask my opinion. They're both gonna get fed. Just because they're bell cows, but tough matchup for both of these. Green Bay defense is going to be good this year, real good defense in Green Bay, and Pittsburgh D line having to go against TJ Watt, Cam Hayward. It's going to be tough for both of these guys at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
I think
I
it.
don't expect these guys to put up the points I projected, if you want my opinion.
Yeah, I could see Dalvin Cook still having somewhat of a decent game just by catches alone. He's just going to get points, but and he's going to be playing the entire game. Joe Mixon, like you said, Pittsburgh has a tough defensive front. I feel like they're just going to be throwing the ball a lot, truthfully.
No,
And I think they're going to get a lead though, so I guess Joe Mixon might start getting the ball then, but he's still probably
yeah.
going to do well. But to your point, I think his projection is probably a little high this week.
And then we
Uh,
got these wide receivers here. Real good wide receiver ones for both of these. Mike Evans is always underrated. He really is. But he's reliable year in, year out. For Matt, he just traded for him this offseason. I'm sure
yeah,
he's happy to have Mike Evans there. And Tyreek Hill in a brand new situation for Coco. He still has him under Hugo's boyfriend as his nickname. Um, he wishes I've moved on to bigger and better things like
yeah.
Jalen Waddle.
His
But
value. I mean,
um,
I'm not too confident against New England. I really like Mike Evans against Dallas. I think that's going to be a high
I
scoring.
love Mike Evans
That's a.
here.
I like that matchup for Matt, and then Tyreek Hill on the other side against New England. It's going to be tough.
I think Tyreek's gonna torch him.
think so. I
Yeah,
Mike
I
Evans.
think Tyreek comes out week one and
I think Mike
torches.
Evans' projection is 24.8. I think Mike Evans gets more than that, and Tyreek Hill's at 24. I think he gets less than that. So I like Matt.
Yeah. All right. What about Hollywood Brown versus Cortland Sutton here? Once again, shout out Brendan. You traded for the wrong receiver here in this offense. Cortland Sutton is gonna be absolutely the number one in this offense, if you ask my opinion. Hollywood, he's gonna start off number one for Matt, but we'll see once Hopkins comes back. But this is week one we're talking about, so the here and now. I like Sutton favorited in this matchup here.
Yeah, I like them both. I mean that we were just talking about it. Arizona against Kansas City is the highest over, and it's the highest spread of the week here. So I I think Marquise Brown is Hollywood is going to get a touchdown, and I think Sutton probably will too. For my sake, I hope it's not Judy. But I think it's Devontae Williams. I think he's going to be the one that has the big game here, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think so too. Russell's just going to be feeding everyone. I expect the Broncos to put up at least 30 points.
Yeah.
And then this is pretty good tight end match to start things off.
Yeah.
Kelsey for sure, number one. He's projected to have a big season because he's going to be Mahomes' number one guy versus Waller, who has Devontae in town now.
I think Kelsey's in for a big week this week, especially while, it's week one. There's a lot of new players in that offense, and Kelsey's his guy that he's, trusts and he's confident in. I think this is probably going to be a multiple touchdown game for Kelsey, 2 or 3. And Waller, he's got a good matchup, but it's now that Devontae Adams is there too. I can see Devontae Adams definitely getting a few touchdowns in this matchup here, as long as the Raiders can keep up. But I mean, still a good matchup for Waller. I just think Kelsey's going to be the number one tight end this week, almost guaranteed at this point.
Guarantee. So then we got the 3 flex spots here. We got Zeke against Juju, Chase Edmonds versus Lil Davy Montgomery, and Pollard for Matt, and Allen Robinson, who I traded Coco last year. So I think he's going to have a good year with LA. I've come around on him. What do you think about this flex matchup here for these two teams?
Yeah, I think this is where the tides start kind of turning more in Coco's favor if I'm looking at it here. I like the Juju play with Arizona. I think he's going to have a good game. Zeke against Tampa Bay. I think the Cowboys they might have a tough time keeping up with Tampa Bay, to be honest. And the fact that Matt's starting both of them gets me a little nervous. Yeah, I mean,
this was my struggle, Marty.
A little better.
This was my struggle. This is why I traded Matt both of them. I was like, they come as a combo because I don't want the headache of starting one over the other and the other having on the bench having the better week. I was done with that headache, got out of it a year early. But that's what you got to do. Start both of them because they could literally both go off for Matt.
Yeah.
Pollard's going to be great this year. Very underrated.
Yeah. I think I like Pollard a little bit better than Zeke in this matchup, to be honest. I feel like Cowboys are gonna be chasing points. And
Yep, I agree.
um Edmonds, I mean, I keep hearing lots of good things just from everything I've been reading about Edmonds. He's just got a tough matchup this week against New England. Although Miami does well against the Pats, so I don't know. I'd still be a little bit nervous with Edmonds this week here. And then Little Davy. I mean,
Little
David
Davy,
Montgomery,
baby.
dude. Like I like him. I like him this week here. I think
He's
that
consistent, man. He
yeah, dude,
really
he
is.
gets passes, dude. He's very reliable. And then Allen Robinson too is just he's gonna be getting, enough points. He's that 20-point guy, dude. He puts up 20 points pretty consistently there. It's
Not
pretty rare
last
for him to go
year,
into
but
the
hopefully
30s.
this year for Coco.
Yeah, but he's in a much better situation now on in
Big time.
LA. Yeah, two great teams, but
Two great teams.
I don't know. I'm looking at this here. I'm my pick is going to be Brian for week one.
So Brian to cover by 8 points is Marty's prediction. Uh I want to ride with you so bad here because I do think Coco is gonna win this matchup, but Matt's gonna cover. Give me the 8 points with Matt. Going against the grain here against you, Marty. So mark that in the records here.
All right.
And then the very last matchup of the week here. This is gonna be a hell of a matchup here. High
Yeah.
points. I'm with you that Matt versus Coco in my eyes is the number one main event, but this is the co-main event because this is gonna be a hell of a matchup. I'm
Yeah.
very excited about this.
Yeah, not
You
too far
got
off.
Vinny and Steve here. Vinny is projected 245.77 to Steve 253.59. That's about an 8 point difference there. We'll give Vinny the points here. And let's start off with the quarterbacks here, Marty, because this is yet another high powered team.
Yeah, both quarterback matchups are great, honestly. Lamar Jackson against the Jets. Dude's gonna put up points. Hopefully he just doesn't get his touchdowns vultured from Dobbins too much. But I think he's gonna. I mean, Joe Flacco led offense in the Jets this week. I think Baltimore's gonna have an easy time with them. So
They're going
hopefully,
to be on the field a lot.
yeah, I was gonna say hopefully Lamar can get enough points under his belt before they have to rest him because I think if they have an
Yeah.
easy one win. And then Kyler Murray against Kansas City, dude's gonna have to put up points to keep up with the Chiefs. So Chiefs are gonna be scoring a lot of points against them, I think. So another high scoring game. And then moving on to running backs, Nick Chubb going against Carolina in Carolina with Derrick Henry at home going against the Giants. Another cakewalk matchup, I think, for Derrick Henry right there.
I I think my bold prediction of the week is right here. Would you be surprised if Derrick Henry came out week one for 200 yards
Dude, I wouldn't be.
on the Giants? I see it, dude.
Yeah, truthfully speaking, I really like Derrick Henry this week. To your point, good matchup, and on top of that, I mean, with the receiving core right now, I think they're going to need a little bit of time to kind of get situated. And I think they're going to lean on Derrick Henry to put up points this week for that offense. So I like the prediction. I don't know if he'll get 200, but I know he'll be good for at least two touchdowns.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And that's not a knock on Nick Chubb. He's just literally going up against a man amongst little boys in Derrick Henry. So
Yeah.
Nick Chubb should get work against Carolina, but we'll see. Because I don't think Cleveland's going to be. Do you think that Cleveland Carolina game is going to be like close?
Um, Truthfully speaking, I think it's going to be an ugly game. I think it's going to be low scoring. Um, I think it's going to be a defensive battle.
Yeah,
If I ever saw one on paper here. So
getting that vibe.
yeah, I could see Nick Chubb getting his points, but I don't think he's gonna. I don't think this is a week where he has like, you know,
This isn't a breakout week
yeah,
for him.
breaks out or anything. Oh, this is
So
yeesh.
this is a big win for Steve here. Najee Harris for Steve versus Devin Singletary. Um, Vinny's real high on Singletary. I like him. I don't love him. I'd take him on my team. I know me and Vinny talked a lot of trade. I'm sure he's offered him to everyone. But Najee's just a different cat in this matchup. He's just going to dominate. Rams
Yeah,
defense is going to eat up the Buffalo backs. That's why I love Diggs and Gabriel Davis on your team this week, Marty.
yeah,
But Najee should get a lot of work against Cincy here.
yeah. I
Um,
really don't like the Singletary matchup this week. It's gonna be tough battle for him and Cook. I know Alex is starting Cook, but
yeah, very
who
tough for
knows?
them both.
Maybe if they're throwing the ball a lot, maybe Cook plays a little bit more. But for Najee, I think if the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win, they need to keep the Bengals offense off the field and they have to run the ball a lot. That's the only way
Agree.
that they win. Um, so I like Najee this week here, but I can see this game getting him away from them. And I think Najee's point projection, 28, that's a lot. I don't know if he reaches that. I still think he's going to be in the 20s, but I think it's going to be on the more, high teens, lower 20 side rather than the higher.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Then moving on to the wide receivers here, the star wide receivers for each team. And looking at tight end here, while we have this up on the screen, we got Vinny with Devontae Adams against Steve with Deontay Johnson, and then Vinny with CeeDee Lamb against Steve with DJ Moore. And lastly, this is my favorite tight end matchup of the week here. Mark Andrews versus Kyle Pitts. Talk to me about this, Marty, because this should be a big wide receiver win. I think overall sweep for Vinny here,
Yeah, this
which
is
gives him a good
where
chance to beat Steve.
yeah, before like some of the matchups we are more leaning towards Steve. Now this is where the tides swing a little bit more towards Vinny because um Raiders they need Devontae Adams to get yards, catches, touchdowns this week if they're going to stand a chance against the Chargers. Chargers are going to be getting points. So they need
Yeah,
Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams, big game.
Yeah, so if the game is close, Devontae Adams is having a good game. And I think that'll be the case. And Deontay Johnson, they're gonna I mean like I was saying before, I think they are obviously going to need to play catch up. I think in this game against Cincinnati, if you know if the Bengals are on their game there, but I just don't think I'd be a little bit worried starting Pittsburgh players week one, especially with a brand new quarterback in the NFL coming in. I think it
Yeah,
might take them a little bit of time to get
and
comfortable
I
there.
think Trubisky's going to pass it around the yard.
No, Trubisky sucks,
Like
and
spread it though, spread it. I don't think Johnson's going to be the clear number one.
yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not. I wouldn't be comfortable starting a lot of Pittsburgh receivers this week here without at least seeing them in action. But that's why I really like the Devontae Adams matchup. I think 19 points for Johnson is going to be on the higher side, and I think
Higher side.
I think it's going to be hard for him to get 19 points. But I think it'll be
Yeah.
easy for Devontae to get 25.
And CD here is gonna, I think, gonna have a real good game and
Yep.
carve Tampa up. DJ Moore, I don't think is gonna have a good game for Steve. And I Cleveland corners are really good, especially Denzel Ward. He's really nasty. I think he's gonna be on DJ Moore the whole game. So big win
Yeah.
for Vince here with CD Lamb.
Yeah, I think CD Lamb's good for just a good season in general. I'm have him in Yahoo. Excited to have him on my team. I mean, this is going to be a tough matchup for Dallas. They're going to be needing to throw the ball a lot to keep up with Tom. So I like the matchup for CD. DJ Moore. We were talking about this matchup, just saying that where, like I was saying before, I think that this is a game that I would bet the under on. But DJ Moore is that guy that he's usually pretty consistent at staying in the 20s and high teens there. So I think his point projection is right. But CD Lamb definitely has the bigger breakout potential here. So this could be a big game for CD. For DJ Moore, I don't see it, but
No. And then the tight ends, I love Mark Andrews against the Jets. I think
yeah.
he's going to be in the end zone twice, probably because he's just going to have a real easy time. I know the running backs in Baltimore are still sketchy. That's why you're going to see a lot of Mark Andrews in the red zone here. And Kyle Pitts, I mean, this guy's a freak of nature. He's got the biggest wingspan in the NFL. It's crazy. And he's going to be out there. I think Atlanta's going to be playing from behind against New Orleans this week. And I'll give this to Vinny here, the win on tight end with Andrews.
Yeah, I would say looking at this matchup here, Mark Andrews, he's going to get a touchdown. He's playing the Jets. It's going to be easy for that offense to move down the field, and then he's the favorite red zone target. I think it'll be very easy for him to get one this game. Kyle Pitts against the Saints. This is another game that I would take the under in. I think both offenses are not great, and Saints are more defensive. And if I had to pick the winner, I would say it's going to be the Saints, truthfully. But I think the Falcons are going to have a tough time moving the ball down the field in this matchup here too. So um, I think Pitts will probably definitely still hit his mark just from he'll still get a lots of looks, but I I agree with you. I think Mark Andrews is by far the safer pick, and I think he'll have probably close to double Pitts' score. So
Yeah,
I like the matchup.
I like it. And here we get to the fun part, the flexes, the matchup here. We got Keenan Allen on Vinny's against Lenny Fournette, Lombardi Lenny, and then Michael Pittman for Vince against James Conner, and Amon-Ra St. Brown against Amari Cooper. This is where I love Steve and the running backs here. And the below matchup with St. Brown against Cooper, that could go either way, but I'm going to lean here with both running backs on Steve. Lombardi Lenny, he's just going to get fed, and Brady week one is going to trust him, and they're just going to feed him. I think same offense as last year. Lenny had a great season. Yes, Keenan Allen is in that shootout, and it's going to be up and down. He's a freaking first down machine too, so
Yeah,
he's still old reliable. Um, but I like Steve with Fournette. And then Pittman, he's got to prove it. He's got all the hype coming into this year. Yes, he led the Colts in receiving. But in order to be really good, you got to keep doing it. Keep doing it. So I have high hopes for Pittman. I know Vinny has high hopes for him this year. But I like James Conner on the other side. This man is just going to score touchdown after touchdown this season
yeah.
for Steve. And he's a really good running back to have because the Cardinals feed him down low. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, just starting off the top. I've been making some claims here, and I'm gonna make another one here with starting at the top here. I do like Keenan Allen for Vinny. I truthfully think Keenan Allen, when matched up with Leonard Fournette, I like Keenan Allen more.
Oh,
Uh,
interesting. I like it.
yeah, but
Race debate.
yeah, just because I like the Chargers this week against the Raiders. I think they're going to be slinging the ball. Herbert's going to be slinging it. There's going to be a lot of points, and I think Allen is going to definitely reap the benefit of that. And then Leonard Fournette, Tom Brady's going. He's playing in Dallas. I think it's going to be a high scoring game, and I think Tom Brady's just going to be slinging the ball. I don't know if I know Fournette is going to be out there getting carries, but I just feel like it's going to be the passing game that gets it done in Dallas. So I think looking at the projection for Leonard Fournette, it's 26 points. I think it's a little high, in my opinion.
All right. All right. We'll see. Then the bottom flex spot is St. Brown against Philly. And what I got to say with St. Brown, this is a really tough week one matchup. The Eagles secondary might be the most improved in the league. They have three to shut down corners. They have probably the best corner group in NFL right now. They're stacked, and either Darius Slay Maddox or Bradbury is going to be covering St. Brown. I don't expect him to have a strong game, but Amari Cooper, do we have any expectations for this guy? Is Jacoby Brissett going to be looking at him week one? I'm no Amari Cooper fan this year.
Yeah, I'm not, especially not this week. Like we keep saying it, like I think this is low scoring game, not going to be a lot of offense going on.
Yeah.
I'm not too excited about Amari Cooper. I do like him as a player. I think he's got a lot of talent, but with Jacoby and this matchup, I'm not a fan. I would steer clear if I was Steve, but I don't know what other options he has. But and then to your point, yeah, and Philly too, another tough matchup over there. Truthfully, I'm not too excited about either Amari or Amon St. Brown. I think both of them could definitely. This is one of those matchups where I could see them missing their projections. And then, truthfully, the flexes before this too, Pittman against Connor. Still, now I'm leaning more towards Steve. I like Connor's matchup in against Kansas City.
Love it.
I think he's just going to be getting a lot of dump off passes there. And then Pittman against Houston, it's one of those matchups where it looks good on paper,
It's a
and
Jonathan Taylor game right there,
exactly. I
Marty.
just see them just running the ball. I think there's going to be a lot of turnovers by Houston. Um, there's not going to be too much yardage that Indy's gaining. It's just going to be a lot of the running backs getting points, and I wouldn't be surprised if there is at least one defensive touchdown in that game. Um,
Yeah,
and
for sure,
then
Marty.
and then yeah, James Conner, like I said, that's highest scoring projection of the week is Arizona against Kansas City. Um, I think James Conner is going to be pretty good for his projection there with 25 points. Again, I think these are all pretty high. But I think
Yeah,
he'll
it's week
definitely,
one. They're definitely high.
yeah, like I think that they definitely, I'm feeling that that's also a little high for him there. If he's getting 25 points there, he's going to have a good game and at least get one touchdown there. Um,
Yeah.
I see high 18s, low 20s. I think 25 is a little high for him there, but I still like the matchup over Pittman.
Yeah. So Marty, let's make our call here. We got
Yeah, this is a
Vince
tough
with
one.
245.77 against Steve with 253.59. We're calling it 8 points here. And would you like to go first or would you like me to go?
I'll let you take the lead on this one. I need a
I will be
matchup on
taking
paper.
I will be taking Steve to cover 8 points. So I think Stevie B is going to get it done. He just has A+ matchups up and down the board. Um, Literally, he's just going to dominate, with the exception of just that Cleveland game. I think if Deontay Johnson gets targeted by Trubisky, good. Other than that, with Cooper and more, I expect this team to put up a lot of points here. And so I got Steve. Who do you got?
Yeah, this is a tough one. I want to say Vinny, but every time I look at Singletary and his running back slot, makes me a little nervous.
Vince,
Um,
he's been searching for that RB2 so bad.
I know he's been looking to send out a lot of offers lately there. Yeah, you know what? I'll trust my gut. I'll pick Vinny. I think a lot of Steve's running back projections, they're very, very high.
Yeah.
But I still think Steve has a great team. I think it's not going to be a blowout by any means. I think it's going to be a close matchup. I wouldn't be surprised if Steve wins it, but some of the matchups I just like better for Vince.
Yeah.
I don't
So
I'm trying to steer clear of that Browns freaking Carolina
it's an
game.
ugly
He's
game.
got a
It's
big
an
part of
ugly
that
game.
game, and I don't like it. And I'm truthfully, I don't really like the Pittsburgh players this week too. So
No.
that's my
So
pick.
Marty, we've gone through all the matchups. We're excited for week one. I got a couple questions. Let's give the people some juice here.
Yeah.
Some predictions. I think the matchup we're both looking forward to is Matt and Coco. I think that's going to be fireworks and a really good matchup. Great match. Um, Players all around. That's what I'm looking forward to, and you as well, right?
Yep. Yeah. No, I think those are going to be two of the. I think those guys are both going to be in the playoffs. So let's see how
Yep,
their season starts.
I agree. Then Marty, out of all the owners this offseason, now it's time to put up or shut up. Which owner has to come out and get a win in week one? Who do you think?
Um, I think only because they've done it to themselves at this point is Brendan. He keeps on saying there's a lot of talk coming out of Brendan's mouth saying that he's going to make the playoffs, he's going to win this year, he's got a great team, and if he comes off week one and puts up like a dud performance, it's not going to look good. And
Yeah,
his mouth has been running, so time to put up or shut up, Brendan.
I agree. I agree. My choice will be Coco. It's the best matchup. He's projected to get a real high point total. Let's see if you're gonna compete this year. I think you are. Obviously you still got a good team, but I think you got to prove come out week one that you can get that dub against Matt, who's gonna be a really good team. And then Marty, who which player do you think is just gonna win them a week this week one? Any particular players come to mind in any particular matchups here?
It's kind of tough to say. I mean, truthfully speaking, all the matchups are pretty close on paper there.
Like real quick, if we go through the matchup here, we're just gonna spitball here, rapid fire. I think in the Jorge versus Hugo matchup, it's got to be AJ Brown for Hugo, and it's got to be Jamar Chase for Jorge. Your thoughts, real quick. You pick
Yeah,
your two players and go.
I mean, AJ Brown I think he's going to have a great game. And my other pick for your team was Javonte Williams. I think Javonte Williams is going to have a great game against Seattle there. I think he's going to get a lot of points and a lot of touchdowns. Well, at least one or two. But I think he's just going to have a good fantasy outing. And then for Jorge, I think Justin Jefferson needs to have a good game for them to have a shot at beating the Packers. So
I love it. I love it. We're moving on to Brendan versus Marty. And I think I want to get away from the important guys on Brendan's team, but I think Dallas Goddard needs to show up week one, and I think he will as well. And for your team, Marty, let's see what Gabriel Davis has this year. I think he's
yeah,
got a favorable matchup with Ramsey on Diggs all night long. Your two picks real quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say for Brennan, I think Judy needs to have a good game for him this week, just to kind of give him some assurance that that trade was worth it, at least to start off here. And then
Yeah,
for me, I think it's gonna be AJ Dillon. I think AJ Dillon on my team against Minnesota, the matchup is good for him, and I think it's gonna kind of shine a light on the whole running back situation on my team if he can start off looking good.
that's exciting. That's exciting. We're moving on to Alex versus Dylan. And for Alex, I think I think Elijah Moore really needs to show up week one if Alex has any shot of competing with this team this year. He's gonna know off the bat, I think, the first couple weeks if he's gonna be in it or out of it. And for
Yeah,
Dylan, I think it has to be Julio Jones. Let's see what Julio Jones does this week.
yeah, I was gonna say for Alex, like truthfully speaking, he really needs Swift to be a huge part of his team. So I think it'd be a real low blow if Swift comes out and doesn't perform to the way that he's hoping. I think he will, but that offense is I think is just gonna struggle, and hopefully
I think he'll be
that
good this
doesn't
year.
yeah, hopefully that doesn't pull him down with him. But and then for I would say for Dylan, I mean. Um, I think he really needs Thielen to really shine on his team there. Same with Hilaire, honestly. Dylan's got a lot of question marks on his team, but he
A
needs to have
lot.
some focal points there. And I think Thielen and Hilaire need to kind of shine for him. I know he's trying to trade away Hilaire though, for anyone interested.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, then Matt versus Coco. For Matt, I think the most important player this week needs to be Darren Waller is really what I'm saying for Matt. He needs to contribute, and hopefully he puts up a good game for the Chargers. And for
Yeah.
Matt, or I'm sorry, for Coco, a Juju. Let's see what Juju's got week one with Mahomes. I don't think he's going to reach quite the 20s projected. So those are my two.
Yeah. I think for Matt, it's gonna be the Dallas running back situation there. That's obviously he's very heavily invested in it this week. So hopefully they can keep up with Tampa Bay. And then for Brian, I know you said Juju. I like that pick, but also Sutton, another question mark. Hopefully he can put up his projection there. But It'll be interesting to see.
Hell yeah. And then the last one, this is my pick for needs this player to hit to win the most. Devontae Adams needs to have a monster game if Vinny is going to win this matchup against Steve, in my opinion. And for Steve, I think Najee Harris needs to show up against the Bengals and put up points to exceed those expectations and beat Vinny. I think Steve is going to cover that 8 points, like I said earlier.
Yeah, I think I like this. I like CD for Vinny. I think that's where I think Devontae Adams is a given. He's going to put up the points there. CD needs to really shine against Tampa Bay and give him that
Good
point
call, Marty.
there. What's that?
Good call.
And then for Steve, I think it's going to be Pitts. Pitts needs to compete with he needs to compete with Mark Andrews. Otherwise, that's where I could see the game getting away from him.
Nice, Marty. Well, this was week 1, Marty. Welcome to the NFL season, the fantasy
Yeah, brother.
season. It's going to be a fun ride this year.
Yeah. Well, people that want to watch the game, you're more than welcome to come over on Thursday. I'll be me and Hugo will be watching it there. But yeah, we're looking forward to all the matchups this week here. It's finally time, boys. It's finally time. Like I
Let's
said, no more
go.
no need for shit talking. This is gonna be a
Put
reality
up
check
or
for some
shut
people.
up.
Yep, put up or shut up. That's the message from this week here. But thank you everybody for tuning in. Episode 6 in the books. And we'll talk to you guys soon about maybe Thursday recap or something coming up soon.
Later.
Adios, everyone.